Welcome to part 3. Now I may have to split part 3 into A and B because I have to take things apart off the spruces, clean them up, sand them, and in some cases wax them, and then find all the little screws and the springs and things, because we're going to get to a bit of a fiddly bit. Okay, so what I want to do is not surround myself with too many parts and get the fiddly bits so I don't lose them forever. Okay, so let us begin. So where were we in the last part? Well, the last thing we did was putting this spring in place with F12. Okay, and it goes in that position. So, oh, and I've raised the camera up a little bit so we get a bit of a wider screen. I think it was a bit cramped before. You didn't have this on the last one because the memory was full. So I've emptied out the memory. So hopefully I can do some editing with this. Okay, so enough said. So we're now going to find A6. Now, this is A6 here. Okay, and that has to go this way round. Let's double check that. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Double check that. And it's not that clear, but it looks like it goes there. I've not practiced this, you can probably tell. It goes there. Okay, and I've got to check the other side because don't forget, if you lay this thing flat, you push the pegs out. There you go. So that seems to be correct and goes like that. Okay, so now what is next? So next is putting on J7 and with J11. So J7 is this. Now what you've got to do, you've got to put some wax on the top here. Okay, and what I did before I waxed it, I took the glass paper to it and then I put another paper to it, which is I think 1000 grit, and then I put a 1200 grit on it and made that really smooth. And then what I did do, if I just grab this here, I got wood protected treatment. So what you do is it's got like a beeswax in it. So I put that on, let it soak in, and then I took the wax supplied and I rubbed that up and down there like that. Now this is not a new trick, this is actually an old trick. This is a trick my father taught me. My father was a pattern maker, so he worked in wood, and he often said to me, if you're opening and closing a drawer and they stick, you put wax on it and the friction makes it melt and it acts like a oil lubricant in effect. So that's what you do, you put your wax on around here. Okay, now that, and let's see if I can get this right now, goes over the top. Like that. Oop, oop. Okay, let's have a look. There you go. That's going on. That looks, yeah. You need to tease it on. Because don't forget, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pegs to get over, all at the same time. Okay, so that seems to be okay. No, I've not practiced any of this. Then you've got J11, which I have over here. Okay, that goes that way up. And I think it goes, where does it go? I've got a feeling it goes on before, but I'm not sure. It's not obvious to me which way. No, it can't do, can it? It's got to go that way. So I think that's there to hold the spring in, and the spring is in its way. So I'm going to pull that spring back a little bit. There you go. Okay, it's like a spring stop, I think. That's my guess anyway. Okay, so that's gone on, and it says to wax that there. That's fine. We've pre-done that. Now this is where things start getting a little bit fiddly. I've got to find J1, which I think is that. Come on, where's the marker? There, J1. There we are. So that's got to go on top there. Then some screws go on. Okay, so I think working from the bottom of the handle going up seems to work. And the rest is just teasing, really. I wouldn't use too much pressure in case, because if something doesn't quite team up, you probably end up breaking it. Now it seems to be stuck on this part. And it's pushed back slightly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's definitely this part here stopping it. Why is that? Okay, it's stopping here. This part here. For some reason, it's not quite lining up. I wonder if I should take the bottom out and then angle it in. If I can get the bottom out. This part here. Okay. I don't know if it's quite fully home. I'll just use, you know, I wouldn't use any more than finger pressure on here. If you got to hammer it, then, you know. Okay, that's on. That's on. Okay. So it was catching at this point here and this point here, so I had to take it and sort of put it in, sort of like this movement with it, and it seemed to go on okay then. Okay, so where are we now? So we've got to put 2 screws in P13. I'll put these in the plastic box and those over there for later. Okay, so they go in there. I should have put a piece of paper next to them labelled. Okay, they seem to act like some sort of spacer, I think, by the looks of it. They seem to be holding it, so I think it's to stop it. In too close. Yeah, you got to put G6 together and J19, and in the middle you got to put J13 with A23, and then you put the P4 spring in. Now all of these parts are listed on the front page, so if you're not sure, it tells you what size they are, and it's actually, the description is quite good. So you have to take that trigger, and this is one I prepared earlier. You take the shaft, which is 20mm long. You basically pop that through the middle there, which I've not actually tried until now. Yep, nearly going through. A little bit of persuasion perhaps, something light. Okay, that's got to go all the way through, that's it, like that. You've got a little spring there, look. Okay, that's got to be able to rotate freely, that spring. So there you are, the shaft's gone all the way through. And I think you've got to wax this one somewhere, but if you do, it goes on there, you wax it there, okay, which I've already pre-done. Then that goes into the trigger guard, like that, and then the spring with a P12 goes in there, right there. So I should have one left over at the yes, there it is. I knew I hadn't lost it. So will that stick to that? It's not magnetic, is it? No, I don't think it is. I do have a magnet. Yeah, so get yourself a magnet and the screw will stay on the end. And then I need to pull that over, that spring. There you go. That goes in there like that. Yeah, just get it started. And I can take this magnet off, put that back. Magnets are very good if you want to put your pins all in one place. Okay. Now I think there's some advisory on this. The springs should be flexible, so do not tighten the screw. So what I think what they mean is do not over tighten the screw. And yeah, so I'll just take a turn off it. There you go. So that should. There's your trigger. Okay, now you've got to put this collet on the other side. Now they do give you some sort of tool for doing that. I've not used it so far, so let's see if that'll push. Oh dear, you're going to give me some fun, are you? Yeah, I knew you'd go in with a bit of persuasion. And that's not the right size to push it down, so yeah, that seems to be in. So the collets are either side, so there you are. That doesn't seem to be returning that well. I guess it just needs to wear in a little bit. Seems to be alright then. Yeah, there you are. So that's that done. I'll put the tweezers back. So and my hammer back. Now the next part. You can see it's just a little bit fiddly. This is why I wanted to do part 3 in A and B. So that's all gone in, that's been waxed. The collets have gone in, the screws gone in, trigger assemblies all together. So now we've got to come to the E1 and E6. E1 and E6, these come in 2 parts. Okay. So they've got to go on, yeah, looks like that. There you go. And then the other side is with E4 and E5, which I had at my side just a second ago and decided to hide under a piece of glass paper. Right, so let's get them in place if we can. Well, that went a bit easier than I thought it would. So there we are. That's in place. Okay. Now, what's next? I just want to go backwards just slightly, make sure I've not missed anything. I don't think I have. Okay, so we're now going to put on parts 13 and 15, which is the top cover, which are these two pieces. Okay, I'm just moving my distractions over here, just because I'm covering up screws, and if I'm trying to look for screws, the paper's on top of them, I just feel a complete fool. Yeah, there's a little part here which I've put together. Is it in the plastic tray? Yes, it is. And here it is. Right, okay, pre-done this. Now, you may want to observe that that spring has got to go in that gap there, and it's got to go all the way in. All the way in. Okay. And this part is, drum roll, J14. J14 has to go here. Like that. Okay. Let's just hope the spring doesn't fall out, because if it does, we've got a problem. Okay, and because it shows you in the drawing that the spring's got to go fully home. Okay, which now brings us to part P17. Now P17 is a plastic part. Okay, so this plastic part has got to go this way up. I put the shaft through it like that, and that's got to go next to there. Hang on a minute. That don't look right to me. In that hole there. Ah, right, I see. The collet has got to go in first. Okay, so the collet's got to go in there. Okay. And then that goes on top of it. And this is obviously some sort of return. And it's pushed the collet out the other side, which is not good. Okay. The collets fell out. That's not good. So we're going to have to lay that flat. Do I need anything underneath that? Yes, I do. We're going to get something the same width as that wood. Hopefully. So press down on that. So the collet, I wonder if I should have done this the other way around actually. Why don't I do this the other way around? Because it might make it easier. So what I'm going to do, one of those rare occasions where I actually had a good idea, I'm going to put this, the collet's already on, in that hole. There you go. So that now goes on. I've lost the drawing now. Where is it? Come back to me. All right. It goes on that way around. Okay, and that spring makes that return. So that appears to have worked. So now we have a mechanism that returns. Okay, don't really know if that needs to be pushed on any more, but it seems to be. So we'll push it on just a little bit more using that little tool that they supplied. think it's still a little, for my liking, that's still a little bit loose. Spacers. Some spaces there. So I can put some pressure on it. Well, looks all right. I think though that little mechanism could do with a little tongue at the top there to go into the middle of that spring, which I think it would make it work a little bit more efficiently. But that's what we've got to work with. Okay, so that's bit done. Then we've got to find J16, which I believe is this part here, which it is. Now they have a printed side there, so be aware of that. And which is what is the orientation? The orientation is that way. Yeah, just double checking with the drawing. And that goes over here. This front peg here. It's all just finger tight. Okay. Yep, that's gone in. That's gone in. So there we are. That doesn't seem to be moving as freely as it was before. That's because there's a hole there, and that collet has got to go through that hole. And it's not quite lining up. The rest of it's lining up. I see. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, it seems to have gone in now, but that needs to move freely, which I think it does. It moves freely, yeah. So that was the bits I didn't quite understand. So that collet's got to go through that hole there. That straightens it up. Okay, I feel a bit better about that now. As long as that can move freely, I don't think there's much of a problem. I probably would have put some wax on that if I'd have known, but it doesn't tell you to. So yeah, so anyway, and then you've got to get hold of G16, which is the bit with the flower on it, and that's got to go over the top. Line that up. Going in at the bottom, I've got to get it at the top, work our way towards the mechanisms, and that has, yeah, seems to have gone on okay. Alright, so what's next? Are there any screws? No, there's no screws. So that is the end of part 3A. Part 3B. So as the Americans like to say, I'm going to try and make this real quick, which usually means they're not going to. But anyway, I'm going to try my best. So, we're getting on to two of the fiddly bits. Trying to finish off the fiddly bits as quickly as possible, because this video is going to be a little bit too long otherwise. So what I've done, I've got one or two parts ready. I put that together. So I'm going to quickly just go through what you've got to do. Now, he said, I'll put the part down now, and I don't know where I put it. Here it is. Okay, got this part here. Now that part there, okay, that one's numbered as I14, okay. Now I14 is going to go this way around, okay, and slots in here. Now I've made the pin ready, so what you do, you get your collet on the end there, and you push that in, okay, gently as possible. And as always, I'm just double checking I've got everything the right way around. Yes, I have. Should just drop in, there you go. And then that shaft goes through. You grab a collet, okay, push that onto the end. If you want to, you can use that little tool. Now you're going to need something to rest underneath it, because you've got to push on that. So I'll just put that there for the moment, and something as well. Let's grab another piece of wood. It's about the right height. Now you grab that little tool they give you, and you push that down. Okay, there you go. Now you've got to have those the two ends spaced out equally, the rod. So in other words, the rod sticks out either side by about 5 millimeters. You push that through like that there. Okay, and now that should react with that, and I don't know exactly how that works. Yeah, it's like a seesaw effect. Okay, so that seems to be moving quite freely. Okay, so the next part is, let's put these back to one side because they're not involved at this point. Okay, so put that tool back in there. Now here's the thing. Now I've put this semi together, so I'll just quickly take the whole thing apart, but basically you've got to have these two shafts with the collets on ready, okay, and they are 15 millimeters long. Okay, now you're going to put K13, this is K13, you've got to wax this, okay, and you've got to wax the inside of these two parts here. I think it's I11. Okay, let's double check the numbers there. Yeah, I11 and 18, this is 18. So I smooth this down, use some real fine glass paper, and then I put wax all over it, okay. And this part goes on top, wax goes on here, okay, and then it goes together like so. You put F10 together with, what's the number, A8, this is A8, and then A21 joins them together like that, okay. Then this goes over the top, like so. We've got that. Do you know what? Getting everything the right way around. Yeah, it goes on like that. Or does it? No. See, I've took it apart now, haven't I? Yeah, it goes on like that. So that just snaps in. Okay. Then you take the end part, which is numbered I10. That's I10. And that just slips in as a spacer and a lock at the back. Then you've got that unit there. Then you take K13, cover that in wax, okay, and that goes in. This is like the cocking handle, so that slips in there. Line up the holes, take your pins with the collets, pop them in. There's two of them, like that. Okay, put the end collets on, push them on. Okay, I should have another collet lying around. Don't tell me I lost that. Woohoo! Anyway, grab another collet, a collet turner that goes over the top like that. Now this is a separate mechanism, okay, which now has to be slotted into the machine gun. All right, and that's what it looks like. And this should be able to move freely. So you might want to take the opportunity to put some extra wax on. Okay, I have pre-waxed it, but I'm just putting a little bit more on. Sounds a bit like me, moron. Okay, I resemble that remark. Okay, so you've now got that movement. Right, so that's free and easy. So you now got all of that together, and let's see. That goes in there, that goes in there. Right, now you've got to fit it into the machine gun. So I'm going to show you this way around, and this goes this way around. Now you've got to pull the spring back and just slot it in. There you go. And then that spring then goes into that hook there. Okay, that spring into that hook there. So now you've got this kind of movement. Okay, and don't forget to wax everything up. Any moving part, make sure it's waxed. All right. Now that then hits that last piece and makes that piece move there. So that should all be moving. Okay, and that's where we're at with that. Then to finish off the part B, you take H6, H2, H3, B10, and then 2 times P13 screws. Okay, and basically what you're fitting is the magazine lock. This is supposed to go here, and it moves like this. This locks and unlocks the magazine. Now don't over tighten that screw. This needs to be able to move freely. Okay, and then there's a spring that goes in the back here, right there, and that's going to be in part 4. So that now ends part 3. I don't, do you know what? I don't think I'll be able to finish this in part 4. There's a lot more to come yet. And we're on the second page there, something like that. And there's the other side to do as well yet. So it might even turn into a 6-part series. There you go. So, I'll see you in part 4. And as before, you know, I don't get paid for this. I don't ask for coffees or sponsorships or anything like that. So the best thing you can do is like and subscribe and share it if you want to share it with somebody. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you and goodbye.